Hi people. So, this will be a double feature video. Maybe it will be too long, so I will cut it in half. But I came up with the structure, I will stick to it, I'm sorry. And it's too hot here and my allergy is killing me. Anyway, first the cast. We have to take a look at the cast because I decided so. Crow 1 has Brandon Lee, obviously. A lame version of Mark Dacascos if you ask me. No charisma like Bruce Lee, and he's just a pussy. Number 2, Ernie Hudson. And I assure you, this, when I looked at the IMDb page for this review, was the first time I noticed the guys in this movie. I saw it 2 or 3 times at least, because, party watching and that kind of stuff, but it's just, no. Ernie didn't make a good enough impression. And he has nothing wrong. 3, Michael Wincott. I have no personal agenda against him, but he looks like a Highlander serious runaway. The main boss of this movie, Crow 1. And what was he until this point? I mean, later in his career he had some movies which even I appreciated, but he was in Kevin Costner's Robin Hood as the sissy sheriff, so... And for first, it's kind of a C named Tony Todd. Yeah, I said it. And if I really flex my muscles, there was John Polito too, who is some TV actor, so he doesn't really count actually. For Crow 2, City of Angels, we have Iggy Pop, Thomas Jane. He was the best Punisher, he was in The Mist, that crappy Stephen King ripoff of The Fog, spilled over with Christian propaganda, but people at least know the title. And was in stuff like Deep Blue Sea and so on. 3, Vincent Castellanos is a David Lynch regular. In Crow 2 we have only one black dude, and well, at least he is noticeable here. I mean in Crow 2. Fine, let's move on. The point is, the cast is stronger for the second film, if you ask me at least. You might have a different opinion, but Now let's compare the posters. Crow 1. Horrible poster. The selling point of this is not the comics, not the Crow, but Brandon Lee. He's in the center, his name more readable than the freaking title. If they use the stand-in for the poster for obvious reasons, then it is just a shameful poster, absolutely on the next level. The Crow 3, 4 are straight to DVD covers and obviously press the last penny, but this Crow 1 poster is unexcusable. You just can't take a look even at Brandon Lee, whether it is him or somebody else. Come to think of it, why do we have so many Crows movies? Or even comics? It is a totally one-note story. The dude, or in rare instances Judith, resurrects, becomes Superman with kryptonite immunity, kills a bunch of people, dies again. What is the point? You can pull an artistry on it and sell it once. But what's this with the sequels? How this becomes a franchise? So this whole brand of Crow is just a lame idea. Anyway, Crow City of Angels poster. This is a good poster. First, there is a coloring filter. It creates this moody atmosphere for the anti-hero who comes back from the afterlife to take revenge. Second, we can see the actor. Sure, he is not a big name, But isn't that the entire point of The Crow? A nameless nobody coming back from the grave taking revenge on people misusing their immense power. There is also a city, a hellish city, all crimes and stuff. Also, nice contradiction with the name City of Angels, aka Los Angeles. Sure, the pose seems a bit cliche, though I'm not sure when this became popular. Reminds me of Dracula, Batman, werewolf movies, underworld movies. I'm just watching movies, I don't know history of them. Sorry, but either way, this is a cool poster, definitely miles better than the first one. Now let's talk about the films. The Crow 1. It didn't originally have a number in it, but just make it distinct from coming titles like Crow City of Angels, or later became Crow 2 City of Angels. Let's stick with the first movie for now. What is this even? Demolition Man? Why is the girl in net stockings? Who is she, Lolita? Her monologue takes 6 entire minutes. No wonder it annoys me to no end. Brandon Lee crawls out of the grave with a scream Anakin Darth Skywalker would be jealous of. At 9 minutes we see some henchmen claiming they killed someone. Why don't we see that? This is boring. And what blew up? Why didn't we see that? Why didn't the bad guys stay to see that? And these bad guys are just people in cheap clothes in a cheap set. If I want that, I will watch some Decato movie. And Brandon flexes because he's Brandon Lee, I guess. Darn, his character is so unfit for life, he already falls out of the window of a tall building. Roll credits. Oh, it was a flashback, so whatever happens I shall not care, because it will be a fake out. Okay. And the bad guys are totally incompetent, pose no threat in them. Even if Mr. Lee don't come in, they will eventually get rid of themselves. So what's the point? By the way, the bad black guy dresses like a Mad Max wannabe. He's so shining out of crowds, it's just... He would be arrested taking the first step. And Brandon paints his face because it's like a fetish thing. He used to wear that mask when he was fucking his bride. Ooh, that's perverted. Okay, Brandon does some parkour, but it's 20 minutes past and nothing happened. Will anything happen, please? Like, where is Odin? This whole Crow Raven business is his resort. The movie obviously used ravens, and if we are honest, this is death, and Blackbird is referring to the Pope poem Raven, and Odin had his ravens taking the battlefields, the fallen heroes. Only the most exclusive dead were taken by the Valkyries. So, but no, this movie will stick to some Judeo-Christian mythology because. Of course, the black guy dies first. This movie is racist. And if Brandon is a martial artist and a good one, why do we see excellent close-ups and rapid cutting during fighting? And actually, in most fights, Brandon won't even use his martial arts skills, but will do fireworks and shoot with guns. The dialogue is even crap. Mr. Lee wants Black Guy to tell the story of them killing him and his girl, Black guy says he never killed anybody, then says, oh yeah, we did, then beats up Brandon, then says, okay, I'm telling the story. Which doesn't make sense as he already confessed he did the murder. This is a big pile of nothing burger. Then we get some lame ass club music. I don't care for that plastic shit. At 22:50 the guy is pushing people who are already not in his way. Lame. And who does the boss think he is? Lestat? I like the Asian chick, but why don't we see her removing the eye she fancies? The film wants to be edgy, but there's not going beyond PG-13. A dinner from a policeman! The high-pitched voice. That's it? That's what this war movie offers? I'm not amused. Come to think of it, it looked like the plan was that black guy will lock in the pawn shop and torch it. Their MO, them being evil and the owner being a cheapskate. But the shop never even gets locked? Why? And if the storekeeper deals with the worst, why he falls down so easily? He should have balls of iron. And a continuity error. Where did Brandon's crowbar disappear? Not to mention, and I hate to agree with the bad guy, but what's the pretentious rhyming, eh? Why does Mr. Lee let saliva drool from his mouth? And since when the crow has Spider-Man powers to stick to the ceiling? Brandon throwing away other people's stolen wedding rings don't make me like him more either. I'm not sure how firearms work, but jamming your barrel with wedding rings sounds like a bad idea. What was even the point? His mom is working in a bar during the last 31 minutes. When did she lose her job? And if she did, why is she hanging around keep doing it? And as we did not see any owner, I guess the bartender is the owner as tradition. So he must have fired her. Then why is he sorry? And actually, why is he firing him now? Come to think of it, why is girl still in the bar? She was sent home with money. She went out. Why is she here again? Have to ask, what's the role of black cop and girl? Feels like the movie tries to build up some reverse Robocop shit, but I don't care. Who is the cop? Who is the girl? Nobody's. They are names on paper. This boss is a nihilist, and fitting to that, he resides in a big empty room, while at the same time he is controlling the war criminal activity of the city. I'm not buying that. I think the production had no money to hire extras. What is just... Brandon looks through the hole on his hand, but we don't see his pupil. What lame-ass direction is this? Move that thing, or make a bigger hole in the prop, or something. Some boy just died from a leg shot? Lame. You know, I've seen this crap like twice and never realized this woman is Girl's mom. Why? Because Girl was built up as an orphan. I mean, they told Mr. Lee and his lover raised her, and she has no weight or even presence in the movie. So I don't care. Sure, at least now I know what's the idea behind randomly draining heroin from this rando's vein. But then again, how will that help on anything? Will her life stop to suck? Will she get a job? No. You know, this just say no right-wing bullcrap is just not working. Oh, so, Funny Boy did not die from the leg shot. Fake out! This movie is fake and pretentious. Never get the bosses who kill their own faithful minions. Coming to that, what's so bad about this group? What's all this Devil's Night crap? Because the people Eric is killing are doing big fat nothing, if we are to be honest. They even pay for the beer at the local store. And why did Mr. Lee steal a guitar if he won't play on it? I mean, we are close to two-thirds of the film and nothing yet. Turned out, at one point, Brandon Lee played one track, the guitar, and then splashed it. It's just so forced. There's a hint of police corruption too, so I will be very disappointed if nothing is done with this subplot. Spoiler, nothing is done with this subplot. The girl never goes to school. Isn't she supposed to be the defiance against all harshness? Starting with going to school, being educated and stuff, breaking out of this poverty trap.
See the grave? Empty.
16:08 minutes, Mr. Lee breaks his guitar and we get to a club where some Mortal Kombat track is playing. What am I even watching? Boss' monologue doesn't make sense either. If the thing he likes is chaos, is that meeting organized? Why doesn't he love the clown, the crow, steps into his organization? He should worship Eric Draven. May I ask, when Mr. Lee activated the infinite ammo code? He shot roughly 40 times according to my counting, and one of his pistols is a revolver, a 6-shooter, maybe 5-shooter. And why he does not need time to regenerate this time? We know he does feel pain to start with. We, and the audience, get the info that Brandon does have vulnerability 20 minutes before the credit. That must be a joke. And why is Asian woman a witch? Incest give you magic powers? What is this, Amityville? You know, the second coming. And when Eric is ready to die again, where is the Crow Raven? Why isn't the bird with Mr. Lee? Brandon came back to avenge his bride. That's done. No one cares about this stupid girl. She is not part of the deal, You come back, take revenge, everything else is, sorry, not your business. And why Boss wears a katana now instead of a gun? Oh, he does have a gun. A question though. Why the sniper is not shooting Eric in the head? Growing back that would take a while, I bet. Why no one has bulletproof jacket? And why the witch didn't just break the crow's neck? This is fucking Highlander. This ending. 30 hours of pain, all can be yours. This has no meaning in the shed of light that the boss like 10 minutes ago made a speech about greed being useless, gets in the way of his nihilism, and the only thing that make him feel anything is chaos. Not money and collecting power and wealth and whatever, but absolute nothingness. The boss was not greedy. This punishment, this 30-hour pain in 1 second is just irrelevant to this theme. It's just two idea was presented and no one read the script. The Crow, the original movie with Brandon Lee, is bad. If you are looking at it as a movie, it is crap. Now let's take a look on the second movie, which was R-rated according to IMDb. I believe that. And let's start with the obvious. City of Angels is not a sequel. Not even a new movie. It is a remake of the same storyboard of the first movie. I don't know who thought this was a good idea with Brandon Lee being dead, but they made it, and just look at it. The girl, the white cat, it's not an original story. Is that a problem? I mean, plenty of movie exists as the sequel. It's just a bigger budget remake of the original, like Evil Dead, Morat, and so on. This time, of course, the spoiler, the remake is the better product. Sure, it might have been a bad idea financially, considering the circumstances and all that, but if we are looking at it just as a movie, then it is the better film. The group of evil is phenomenal. They are into leather and bondage. They are one team in a lift place, not an empty corporate throne room. There is the Asian witch, sort of. There is the weird-looking but not outstanding punk Iggy Pop. There is the religious-esque masquerading Cokefield guy. There is the cold calculating Roman emperor like boss. Plus the guy with the camera like he's making some kind of snuff film. And the boss is talking about betrayal. But it is not him who is doing it, but he is who is betrayed. And the boss name is Judah. You know, reference to the Iscariot one. This city is doomed. There is no salvation, there is no law, therefore the crow is justified to turn up. And this boss is not a nihilist. He's a sadist. He knows what he's doing is wrong, but he does it anyway. Not amoral, he's immoral. He's not willing to die. He enjoys if you do. By the way, our girl is an adult here, so no worry about having to suffer a cabin. On top of it, she has visions, so we have a magic user from the get-go on the good side too. And there is this weird court Victorian aesthetic throughout, a bit like Interview with the Vampire. No boring plain surfaces of some cheap set. So, point for this movie. Oh, and the girl also functions as the eye of the beholder, I mean the audience, falls into this whole thing and marvels about it. And we sure have stuff to marvel at. The constant bondage, very Hellraiser, with the yellow filter, maybe 7, you know, and with this crow does not know what it is. He has to be told. With that, it's a bit like Spawn. Sure, the movie is a scrap and the comic thrown itself eventually into a convoluted mess that's thrown away its own premise, but there was a good start for it, like the first 50 issues. That was very, very promising. The way this crow gets its face painting is not even by himself, but Carl, who is a tattoo artist, creates it for him. It's kind of a superhero mask, while also a reminder of his goal to avenge his kid's murder. It is given as a gift and a restriction to hold himself together and not get lost in the strong emotions. I feel this mask given transforms the simple revenge story into a character progression going from rage to making peace. And look at the nails. Tiny details like that can just make a movie. Point is, they are dirty because the dude just crawled himself out of the grave. Such details only register when you watch a film closely, but they definitely count on the subconscious level. And what's the music? I'm not good at determining genres, but sounds like grunge with more raw power. Perfect. Now look at Monkey. I don't even think he was present at the meeting before, but he's darn recognizable from the visions. Look at his body, the posturing, like a monkey. He's literally subhuman. And the scene tells you the story. It was a trick. It's all an act. At the same time, Mr. Crow realizes his powers, and we learn his powers. The question arises, how will the baddies have a chance? They must have a chance. We want them to have a chance. We want them to fail on that chance, but we want them to have a chance. And we learn here that they can have a chance. So marvelous, so built up, so juicy material. Remember, Brandon knew he has powers from the beginning and showed it off at every occasion. This guy is very unlike that Eric Draven. We knew ED was invulnerable and will remain so, so never give a fuck. Also, there is no stupid gravity here. There is a crow symbol that's independent from Mr. Crow's knowing. It's just how his powers manifest. There is again not much introduction of the baddies, but the first one has name cards. The second one has a special coins helps. Also helps that we have no idea how Mr. Crow got into the strip boost. It's a trick! There comes a scene with a Spanish church. The Crow isn't actually into religion, but wondered what is going on with all the skulls and stuff. The priest explains Halloween is for them, the Spanish community and that denomination, is to scare the dead back to the afterlife, those who got confused and think they are alive this day. Boy deem that the dead come back Halloween. But then an old woman goes there and tells the priest the crow is Santa Muerte, a saint dead. So he doesn't need her. Please don't interfere. On paper, it's a filler scene, but builds up lore like nothing else. The script is not without flaw. I recognize that. I mean, I feel some tinkering happened with the gang in the tattoo parlor scene, which probably was one scene instead of two originally, and later got into two with shooting one more dialogue and such. It's not a big deal though. That aside, interesting choice to make the most terrifying minion the third victim instead of the most famous, most expensive, probably most expensive hip hop. And if we are honest, the plot stumbles a little bit. It could be better if Iggy Pop led the crow into a trap, because at this point they know that the crow has a bird, and if you get the bird, that's the potential weakness. So like around the halfway in this version, the bad guys know how they can fight the coming storm. 58 minutes, 20 seconds, darn. He saves the day. Look at the background. The, he, I mean the crow, saves the wretched BDSM person by also making a show out of the whole shit. Like Hugh Jackman with Prestige. Very similar if you think about it. Except here, at every step up, there is another trick. Cards, coins, teleportation, what have you. And in a sense, Mr. Crow is like Room 101 from Orson Welles' 1984. The villains have to face not simply the crow, what is whatever, but themselves in a sense. So this movie has a much more built-in themes and to work with. The crow dies, I mean the bird, so the crow, the person, becomes mortal. that's fair. The final boss is coming, so this is doubly fair. And in the end, it was interesting to watch the coin flipped and big bad boss being the immortal one, just to be revealed the crow, I mean the reanimated person, is the crow. You know, like this elemental entity, this superhero thing, not just some clone with power to the wazoo crow, because a crow raven supernatural stuff. The crow is destiny. You can cheat death, you can avoid fate, but in the end, there is the final destination. And that's Crow, the City of Angels.